Landgate, as Professor Beasley has already alluded to, has a fantastic innovation program. And in the face of climate change, Landgate was approached by the Department of Transport a year or so ago, concerned about the developing instances of erosion on our coastline, and asking us why we no longer collected oblique aerial imagery, which, when we looked at it, we found that Landgate had stopped collecting oblique aerial imagery in about 2000. And the Department of Transport was wanting oblique aerial imagery to monitor the coastline. So we looked at how we could do this. We couldn't afford to put up full-size conventional aircraft to capture imagery. So we looked at what would be a suitable platform to do it with, and we looked at unmanned aerial vehicles, drones, UAVs, remotely piloted aircraft, whatever you like to call them. And we put a proposal to Landgate's innovation program. We asked for, I think it was about $40,000, to do a one-year project to see how we could collect highly accurate three-dimensional imagery of the coastline so that we could actually monitor change. We could quickly capture the situation as it is now. After the winter storm season, which we're experiencing right now, go back, recapture that same site and do a different calculation in the computers. So these are the typical drones you see around the place. This is the one we actually used. This is a small fixed-wing aircraft. An aircraft like this is capable of capturing maybe 100 hectares in a day. One like this maybe stretch it out to 600 to 800 hectares in a day. And as we're experiencing in Western Australia, our fabulous wedge-tailed eagle sees this aircraft as a threat and has been taking it down on a regular basis.
No romance.
So this is the range of unmanned aerial vehicles. We all know about the military ones, but there are civilian ones that are quite large. This is the one we're actually using, and they're actually micro UAVs the size of an insect, which are, I believe, being used for espionage. We won't go there. This is the aircraft we actually use, and hopefully this video will work. The instability you see here is not the aircraft, it's me, the photographer. You'll see that in a second when we zoom out.
How long can it stay in the air in one session?
About 20 minutes. We usually carry a range of batteries, so we bring it in, change the battery, and put it back up again. And that's one of the reasons why it's only capable of capturing up to maximum 100 hectares in a day. Not a suitable platform for rangelands work, but very good for small sites on the coast. As you can see, it's extremely stable. There's some good commentary for you. So this aircraft can be and is sent up with a pre-programmed flight path, and it does the entire survey completely robotically. And only the landing and takeoff is managed by the pilot, which is what's happening here.
It's taking photos all the time?
Yes, yeah. It takes photos overlapping 80% between photos, and then I'll get to how we process that in just a minute. He had been landing this on the box almost perfectly all day, but as soon as I turned the camera on, didn't quite make it. So this is the camera setup on the aircraft. There's a conventional high-resolution SLR camera and a near-infrared camera. So we're actually able to do vegetation index measuring as well. This is just showing the flight path and the overlap in the images, either doing nadir capture, which is looking straight down, or oblique imagery, which is, this is a scene of the Cottesloe coastline. All the imagery we captured was georeferenced, and we used ground control points that were surveyed into our survey area to make sure that it was accurately located. And this is an emerging platform. This is a startup here in Perth. This aircraft 6-metre wingspan, has a loiter speed of 70 kilometres an hour, top speed of nearly 200 kilometres an hour, can fly to 15,000 feet, can stay in the air for 14 hours, has a total weight of 150 kilos, can carry 30 kilos of sensors or whatever, has an onboard power generator, it can fly beyond the line of sight in a direct radio range of 150 kilometres. It can also be flown by a satellite link and on autonomous flying similar to the small aircraft I just described, and can fly a flight pattern with up to 1,001 waypoints. This now brings a new and exciting platform into being able to monitor the rangelands, because we can now cover hundreds of kilometres in a straight line, thousands of kilometres of area. Now, I'm going to switch gear for a second. What does Star Wars have to do with measuring carbon in the rangelands? Creating 3D models for special effects was absolutely essential for Star Wars movies. Thank you. And what we're finding is from the work we did on the coastline, where we built 3D models, 3D models are absolutely essential for measuring the biomass in the vegetation. The software from Star Wars was made open source by the company Digital Light and Magic, and the open source community developed that to a great extent. It enables random photographs to be processed in a computer to reconstruct the subject of those photographs. So these are random photographs and postcards of the Colosseum. A 3D model of the Colosseum was reconstructed from those photographs. Okay, I'm now going to hand over to Russell Teede, who can go into more detail on the technology.
Thanks, Simon. Okay, I don't think we've got long left, so I'll go over this briefly. As you can see here, there's, taking pictures from a different angle allows triangulation of a point, and that point is anywhere in space. So if you capture the same point in multiple photos, you can build a 3D model of that. Our initial project test at Cottesloe only used 24 images, and we were able to come up with a point cloud and thus a 3D mesh to accurately measure the coastline. And of course, we did actually use survey control points. So we had our survey department, so there are about 20 control points. So it was locked down to within a few centimetres accuracy. This was a typical workflow, going from all the flight planning, control points, processing geotagging, and in terms of the this technology, it does it using key point matching, then it develops point clouds, and then thus 3D meshes, and these are some of sort of the products that we would get from it. And the good thing about it is, as someone said, we can do NDVI, so we can classify vegetation as well as volume measurements. So for the coastal project, it was sand volume change, and but for carbon, it's trees and greenery. So this was a project we did for the City of Stirling, the Korean open space. And you can see from this video that, well, these are 3D models of the trees. So as the technology gets better, and so will the models. But you can see here, it's pretty good for a 3D point cloud, for a 3D model, and this is as well a 3D mesh over the top of that, and this is locked down to within centimetre accuracy. So in terms of survey and knowing your boundaries, or if you're going to put in carbon sequestration, then you can actually do this, and it'll be located on your farm in the right space. Now, I don't believe I've got long left, so I'll just jump out of this. This is basically how we do it. Because it's point cloud, you can pick a point, and it will actually tell you the dimensions, and from there, you can actually determine the X, Y, and Z volume dimensions of the tree. So, in this example, I just did the sort of XYZ dimensions, and the cylinder volume would be 1,000 cubic meters. So you can sort of imagine that on a larger scale, related to what Teede was saying about the formulas and calculating how much carbon is in each tree, then we can use the morphology to actually determine what tree, what species is, the weight associated and the amount of carbon stored in each tree.
Russell,
Yes.
quick question. How do you actually measure the depth from the UAV to the tree? With radar
Good question. Initially, the software does it, but now on the UAVs they're using RTK GPS, so that's highly accurate GPS. So because of the triangulation process, it actually determines the position of the camera. So even if the GPS on the UAV is wrong, the software will actually put it in the exact position that the photo was taken.
both processes?
Yeah, so it's actually very intelligent software, and it's developing very quickly. And as you can see, Esri, Google, Erdas, they've all adopted and bought into companies to integrate this into their software. So it is something that is very much emerging in this space. And you can see here, you can cut out small sections, take snapshots, and then even have a look at the dimensions of that tree, cross-section. And the new tools, such as cloud processing, allow visualization to actually determine the exact volume, shape, and morphology of any tree or bush, and be able to determine the metric dimensions. So volume, validate that data for species, size, morphology, and even do accuracy assessments. So the trees that you measure in the field would be the ones that we capture in the imagery and see the volume. And then if you extrapolate that, then you're basically developing algorithms to estimating the species through the NDVI and various spectral imagery, count of trees, volumes, so even sort of moving up towards regional carbon quantification. So this is emerging science, but this is just to give you an idea. Thank you.
Pretty impressive, isn't it? Now, in the interest of time, rather than asking the panel to convene, I'm just going to ask you to put questions to the three people, to Peter and to Simon and to Russell.